Welcome to the After Party Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Evans Transportation. Appreciate it very much. Chris Hockeyan here by myself today as Corey and Sauce are moving on down the road, taking care of some other stuff. I get an opportunity to talk to a very good friend of mine. His name is Billy Thommes. He is the drummer of the fantastic band Hairball. Of course, locally, they're all over the place, but they travel all over the country, and they've been all over the world playing great 80s hair band rock on a giant scale for a long time. Now, Billy goes back with me for a long time. He was in the band Rocket Club with me, and before that, he was the drummer for Johnny Lang / Kid Johnny Lang. So lots to talk to him about, but first and foremost, thank you so much to our new sponsor, Evans Transportation. Appreciate you coming on board with the Power Trip Morning Show. Every time I talk to you, you're somewhere else in the country. Are you home right now?
You know, normally I would maybe leave on a Thursday, get home on a Sunday. That's kind of a typical week for me. So, but this week we have local shows. So actually I think we're playing in Elko on Saturday, and we're doing some private event on Friday. So I'm kind of around. You know,
I should set the scene. How long have you been in the band Hairball?
Full time since 2018, and I filled in 2016 briefly. But yeah, I started full time in 2018. So yeah, we're getting on 4 years here.
You play everywhere, man. I mean, I'm looking at your schedule, where you've been and where you're going, and we'll talk a little bit about it because obviously Billy and Hairball are going to be playing at Twin Cities Summer Jam coming up here this summer, and excited because we and the Fabulous Armadillos, the band I'm in, we get to open for you. But that'll be Thursday, July 21st down at Shakopee at Canterbury Park for Twin Cities Summer Jam. That's going to be a fun show, and I just found out I'm playing with you guys in Sturgis again for a couple of days this year, so looking forward to seeing you again there. Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, but for people, and there aren't many people who listen to this podcast probably who haven't seen Hairball, but you guys put on a fantastic arena-style show, all 80s rock, but it's not just playing the music, it's putting on the show as well. So for people who haven't seen it, how many people are in the band and on the stage in one night?
Well, we have 3 people in the band, guitar, bass, drums, and then we have 3 singers. And the singers rotate, and they get into character, and it's a 2-hour plus, extravaganza. It's just it's a rapid fire thing. We just kind of throw it at you. We throw a few songs from each artist, whatever we're doing. Little Guns N' Roses, little Motley Crue, little you name it. So it's a high energy deal. And we just have a blast. I mean, every night it's super fun, man.
Plus, though, Billy, being that you and I are almost exactly the same age, this is our music. Yeah. This is the stuff we grew up loving. How cool is that to be in a band that does this for a living?
I know, absolutely. It's kind of funny, a funny full circle, given all the other musical things I've done in my career, that it's fun to go back to this and actually go back to where it started for me musically. And so it's the music that I started playing when I started playing drums.
Yeah,
with Motley Crue and Rat and all that stuff. I mean, I was full into that stuff when I picked up the drums. So,
how much does the show change each night? Because it is a show, and there are set changes, costume changes, and such like that. So it has to be pretty clicked in. It has to be pretty locked down.
Yeah. If we're in the same place, we'll definitely switch it up, and a lot of it depends on what the singers feel like singing or what they can sing at any given night. Like, might be, my voice is a little weird. I shouldn't sing Journey tonight, so we'll do Rat. We'll do something a little more rough sounding, or it's things like that. And there's a lot of input from everyone on just how everyone feels and whatnot. And as far as putting on a solid show, we want it to be a good show, so we know like what works with what and what. Oh, if we're doing this, well, we can't do this afterwards because we got this, or. If there's a lot of variables because we play. Sometimes it might have pyro. Sometimes we can't have pyro. So we'll do this song instead of this song, or it can change night to night. And every year we kind of switch it up. We'll kind of have like an A and a B show or a C show or something, but we'll always just play the hits.
Right.
That's just how it is. So
yeah, and it's cool because and I can vouch for that. I've seen you guys a bunch of times, and you roll in with the semis, the tour buses, a giant crew of people who obviously are great at their job, and you put on this giant show. But I've seen you guys and played with you guys, 10 times, and I've not seen the same show ever. And that's why people keep coming back to see Hairball, because you're seeing the same style of music. You're seeing a high-quality show, but it's not the same show each time you go see them.
Right. Who's going to be, what's the next act?
Yeah.
Who's going to be, place your bets.
And you can see the love. I mean, people still love that music, man. So that's fun. But again, if you want to see Hairball, go on hairballonline.com. The shows are listed on there. And again, you guys are Elko this weekend. You're in Goodhue. Then you go to Iowa. You're in Rogers, Brainerd, Oshkosh. Then you're in Ohio, Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Kansas. You even go to Alaska this year. Have you guys played in Alaska before?
We played last year, and it was a blast. I mean, we just had such a great time. And we had some time to enjoy ourselves, to go a little early and sightsee and do all that. And it was super fun, and it was really fun to bring our show there. I wish we could someday. Hopefully, we can bring our semi, because a lot of times on these far shows we have to fly, and the singers will bring all their stuff, but then we're all playing our rental gear, and we might not have pyro, we might not have our video screens, but we just have to rely on pure talent at that point. Yeah. But it still works, and the format still works no matter what. And what's fun about this thing is, I mean, we play big cities, we play small towns, we play, every level in that regard. So we just bring it to the people, big or small. It's super fun.
Something else that fascinates me about Hairball is how many special guests you guys have had who are, the actual people, the Alice Cooper, the people who wrote the songs and played the songs that you guys are playing have joined you on stage. So I always wondered a little bit if you showed up to a festival or you showed up somewhere and one of the bands you guys normally play is on the bill, if they're ever not happy to see you or they don't think it's a good deal that you're on, but it seems like it's the exact opposite. They seem to embrace you guys and love being a part of it. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty fun that. Well, that happened, Lakes Jam last year. I think we had Stephen Piercy up. We did a couple tunes with him because he was playing at Lakes Jam, too, I think, like the following day. But he came out a day early to see us and hang out and play. And so that was super cool. But my first show with Hairball ever in 2016 was a thing that they used to do. We called it the Hairball. And, yeah, it was with Rob Halford and Stephen Piercy and Jamie from Faster Pussycat, Mark Slaughter from Slaughter. And that was my first show I ever played with them. So it was a Hairball show plus them. It was like a 3-hour plus wacko show, man. It was crazy. Totally getting thrown into the fire, man.
That's cool. And again, you've met and hung out with a lot of stars. We'll get to that in a moment when we talk about other parts of your career. But for me, man, there's a lot of levels of rock star. But Rob Halford, man, come on. That's a rock star right there.
Unbelievable, dude. Seriously, like the first time I ever played with Hairball on stage was a sound check. Rob shows up. I was playing the other drummer's kit. I was filling in, and I sat down on the kit for about 10 minutes to just kind of get a little oriented. Rob's here. All right, count it off. And that was it. Here we go. And it was amazing the first time hearing his voice through the monitors. And he's walking around checking the monitors, and he's doing his, he's like checking them all, and like it just fills the whole stage, the whole space. Like his voice is just massive. It was incredible.
What was that song? What was that song you clicked in?
Oh, what was the first one? We did like 5 songs, and like we did some like Diamonds and Rust. We did Hell Bent for Leather, and then the other like bigger hits, Living After Midnight. I wish I could remember what the actual song was, because I'm telling you, it was. I seriously was so like kind of floating at that time. Like it all happened so fast. But I just remember we ran all the tunes, and his whole phrase was when we were done, like, "Look, solid, pretty solid," and that's all. We walked around talking to each other, going, "Yep, solid." Yep.
Dude, that's so crazy. Guy. And that guy, nice. That guy still sings those songs like he's 25 years old, man.
Sing those songs in that way and do the screams. I don't know how. You just saw the Stone show. Look, we saw this. You were there.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yep.
Mick was unreal. I mean, moving still, moving like he did and singing like he did. It was something that was a marvel. It was incredible.
Well, you'll get a chance to see Hairball on the big stage in Shakopee, Minnesota. It's a Twin Cities Summer Jam that is July 21st, Thursday, July 21st, and I'm excited because I'm in the Fabulous Armadillos. We get to open for you guys. It's going to be a great weekend of music out there, and I can't wait. So hairballonline.com for all the dates. They're going to be at a city near you. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back. And, Billy, I want to talk to you a little bit about how you jumped out of St. Cloud, Minnesota, and started touring the world.
Sounds good.
Hey, it's Chris Hockey. Do you hate logistics? Is supply chain a giant headache for your organization? If so, reach out to Evans Transportation. At Evans, they provide unique perspective into the marketplace and carefully create a logistics program just for your organization to get rid of all the headaches and turn logistics into a value-add service for your company. They've been in business for over 35 years, and they're just getting started. They're one of the very first 3PLs in the market and have a track record of making their clients' supply chain woes completely go away. Just check out their website, evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com. I'm back with Billy Thommes, the Hairball drummer, the guy all over the world, all over the country. And, of course, you'll see him at Twin City Summer Jam coming up here on the 21st. And they'll be in Sturgis. They'll be in Elko this weekend, June 4th, depending on when you're listening to this. Goodhue, they're coming to see you. If you just happen to be listening in Kansas or Illinois, they're coming to see you. Chippewa Falls, Thief River Falls, they're everywhere. And they put on a fantastic show, including, by the way, Detroit Lakes. And you guys played there Friday, July 15th. But way before he was in Hairball, he did a whole lot of stuff. You grew up in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Am I right about that?
Yep.
What is it about
St. Paulo graduate?
What is it about St. Cloud that so many great musicians have come out of that part of the town? And you all know each other. You've all been in 5 bands together, and you're all great. What is it about St. Cloud?
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I don't know if the band director that I had was really good. And I, it's funny. Yeah, I know a lot of musicians that came out of there that have gone on to go do some things, but I'm not really sure, obviously, Paul Thommes, and he was the one that got me into playing with Johnny. It was he gave him my number, and that's how that started. And I grew up with Paul. He worked at the music store that me and my brother went to in our teens. We used to go there because Paul, Paul. Paul's a funny guy and so talented, and I just love him. We used to go there just to see Paul. Because Paul was like amazing. He'd pick up a crappy guitar through a crappy amp and make it sound like Steve Vai. And we just, we were in awe of that.
And, being as lucky as I am to be on stage with him now so many nights, I mean, we're in the middle of a 10-day run right now, and I have to remind myself, oh, yeah, I got to sing coming out of this solo here. I got to get myself ready to go. I got to stop watching Paul. But so before you joined Johnny Lang, what bands were you in? How did he know that you were the guy that might be the drummer for that band?
In my, senior year in high school, I started a band, and we won a garage band bash thing, and that was kind of the start of me playing in bands and stuff. So I don't know if I was a latecomer. I started playing drum kit in junior high. Some kids that nowadays are starting so young, but I played violin before that. I grew up in a musical family. So, I mean, I was just kind of steeped in music from the get-go. My dad sings in barbershop. He played guitar and sang when he was younger. I have a sister that plays cello in orchestra still. My brother plays guitar. He's an amazing guitar player. So it was just in the family. But coming out of high school, it was one of those things I started playing in local bands in St. Cloud, played at a house gig at the Red Carpet, and then I got hired by a friend of mine, Randy Ingebretson, who was in Hairball for a bit, in a band called Riff Raff. And they were a local hard rock band. And they moved to St. Louis at the time, and they lived in St. Louis, and they capped me. They said, hey, you want to join our band? And I moved to St. Louis for a year.
Wow. And
that was in 93. I did that for a year. And then I moved back to the Twin Cities, and I've been here since 94. And I just kind of went out all the time and met people and socialized and got to know folks. And really, so it was in about 2.5 years of being in the Twin Cities scene, just getting to know people. So it wasn't even that scene directly that led me to Johnny. Paul got hired to fill in when the big band left. Johnny's original band left. Johnny needed to hire some guys for a 2-week tour, opening for Buddy Guy.
Okay.
And so he hired some folks. Bruce McCabe was still in the band, but Paul got hired to fill in this. And Paul kept in touch with me on the road. He was like, I had a day job at the time, and Paul would call in and just check in, go, hey man, having fun out here. I'm in Louisville right now, or I'm in New Orleans right now, and yeah, it's been really fun. He would check in, and then all of a sudden he just kind of goes, hey, it sounds like this drummer's not going to work out. Should I give him your number? And at the time I was already kind of officially in 2 other bands and doing whatever fill-in work and stuff. But I just thought, well, could be an opportunity, but sure, why not? And I mean, that was it. We rehearsed a few times. I did a show, and I got hired that night. And this was, all I know is like it was a week before my birthday. It's how I know it was October. I got hired, and that was it, man. Hang on, and here we go. And, you know, the rest happened. It was all like, it just was a rocket ride, you know, 8 years.
And was he already having chart success at that point when you stepped in? I mean, he was already playing big shows, right?
He was playing big shows locally, but Lie to Me had yet to come out.
Okay.
It came out 3 months later. In January, the following January, like on Johnny's birthday. So it was, the first few months was kind of gearing up for that. We were playing steady and stuff, but then once the record release happened, it was a kind of another shift. Then, you know, things started really happening then, really fast. And I mean, it was within that year. It's like, oh yeah, no, we're doing all the TV shows. We're doing all the, I mean, we're opening for this person and this person. And it was just kind of a blur, but just getting thrust into that, it was intense. And bless Johnny for sticking with me through the years, because, I mean, you know, it was all new experiences for all of us.
Sure.
For Johnny included, but we had a really fun and a unique band with a wide range of, like, you know, Johnny at 16 and the oldest guy is in his 50s, and I'm in my 20s, and Paul's in his 30s, and Doug was in his 40s, and it was such a unique band that we were in, but we just came together and made it work.
We could talk about some of the bands you toured with. I know some of the bigger ones and some of the bigger things that happened to you, but I've seen video of you guys, I believe it was on Letterman playing. I mean, you said you played all the television shows. How in the hell do you deal with the pressure of waiting for them to give you the go sign when you know there's millions of people watching?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's insane, to be honest. I remember the first show we did, a U.S. show, was Conan O'Brien, and we were on tour in the West Coast, and we just played, Vegas, I think. Vegas, and we did a red-eye to New York, and, I mean, we played that show on probably 2 hours of sleep, because it was like we get there, sleep for a couple hours, and then, you know, you get up early in the morning, and then it's a hurry-up-and-wait situation all day. And you film it in the afternoon. So part of that prep is maybe, you know, doing all the camera blocking and all that stuff. So, you know, obviously we know the song well enough and we know what we're going to do. And sometimes when you do these shows, well, you only have 3 minutes. So you have to, like, come up with a 3-minute arrangement of your 3-minute and 40-second song or whatever. So sometimes on the fly, you have to, like, figure that out real quick. And you run it a few times, so you kind of get ready in a way, but then there's nothing to prepare you for you're behind the screen, and you hear all the, you know, and then the screen goes up, and you're aware in your mind, all right, here's millions watching, and especially if you're like, you know, sometimes in Stretch's case, the camera's on him. It started right on him. Or sometimes it starts right on the drummer, or it starts, you know, like, what they're going to do with the camera because of the rehearsals that you do.
Okay.
It's hard, man. You just have to focus and not think of that, but it's hard not to think of that.
Obviously, we know how great Johnny was, but as the guy sitting behind the drum said, I should say is, I mean, still great. I haven't seen him play in a long time, but obviously he's still out there doing it. Was he immediately somebody you were like, wow, this kid is something special?
Oh, absolutely. And playing behind him is such a high energy thing. I mean, he plays, you know, 120%. Yeah. So it just amped you up to play with a guy like that, you know. I played with Paul plenty. I grew up with Paul, and Paul's an incredible musician. But then Johnny, it's a different energy. You know, it's a different style of thing that he had. But, yeah, I mean, I just remember the first show I had with him. That was just like, wow. It just felt really intense.
Charlie Watts, a huge inspiration for you and somebody you really liked. You played his drum kit once, didn't you? Because were you guys opening for them for a while or something? Is that how you got that happened?
Yeah, no, we did a lot of shows with them over a few years. We did like 3 different tours with them. I don't know how many shows we've done, but we've done a lot of arena shows. He played my kit once.
Wow.
Which was insane. We were in Ohio somewhere, and when you play with the Stones, like, they always sound check, but sometimes they don't sound check. And when they don't sound check, you actually get a sound check. And so usually it's just a line check. So this one day we got a sound check and we did and because they didn't make it in time. We go have dinner after our sound check, and all the guys have their radios on, all the crew guys and stuff. You can hear what's going on. You can tell, like, when the Stones were in the building, like, oh, they're here. No. You get this murmur and people's behavior and everything that you can tell, oh, they're here. And then, oh, no, they're on stage. They're checking out the stage, this and that. You can just hear what's happening from the catering room. I'm hearing all this go down. And then one of our guys, our sound guy, was radioing another one of our guys. And I was sitting across the table from him. He's like, oh, someone might want to tell Billy that Charlie's playing his drum set right now. Wow. I was like, I just like jumped out of my chair and went to the stage, and there he was. He was just sitting and tapping my drums and hitting my stuff. I was like, hey, I got busted on or whatever. Oh, hey, and we just love your gear, this and that. I'm like, hey, what? Is this happening? It was so like, I can't believe this is happening. And so that happened first. And then it was probably about a year after that, we did another show in New York at the Roseland Ballroom. They were doing a tour they were playing big places and small places in all the cities that they were playing. And we were there, we got there early. We're playing on some rental gear, but we're just hanging out. And the drum tech, I was just like, we were setting up. And I'm setting up right in front of Charlie's kit. And the tech was inviting me back. Here, come check it out. Here, have a seat. And, a lot of his gear, he plays like a really old kit and at the time, like with a kick drum head from 1950, like that's never been changed or whatever, with this kind of old flimsy hardware. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want to hit this stuff I was just tapping it really light, obviously, but it was, I don't know. It was just like, I'm playing this like antique kit that it felt like, it was just out of this world. Like I'm here tapping on his kit. It was just, it was a dream. Wow. All of it was a dream. Pretty incredible stuff.
Straight out of St. Cloud to playing Charlie Watts' drum set and opening for the Stones. And again, I promised you it wouldn't be this long, but one more thing for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind when you tell me, because you guys were on the road with Aerosmith forever. And I know you developed quite a relationship with those guys. Give me a story about that before I let you go.
All I can say is that they all really loved what Johnny was doing, and they have kids and stuff themselves too that were probably somewhat similar age. So, as with the Stones, as with Aerosmith, we got access to those bands that a lot of other opening bands didn't get. So, we just got to hang out at times, and the overarching memory that I get is just that they just welcomed us in and that we got to just hang with them. There's other little memories of that were pretty wild. I guess Halloween of what year? 98. Okay. We were in Boston, and obviously Aerosmith is from Boston. So they were off tour, but we were opening for Blues Traveler. And so we did our show, and we had to, like, Blues Traveler said, you guys got to wear Halloween costumes. All right. So I literally, too, I had to go find a costume shop, and I rented a costume. You should see a picture of Paul's costume. It was unreal. I can't even describe it to you here on the air. But we did our show, and we got invited to Joey Kramer's house, the drummer's house, for Halloween. They had a little Halloween gathering at Joey Kramer's mansion. And so after our show, we got to go, and it was me and Paul and Johnny. We went. And we hung out at Joey Kramer's house, all in Halloween costumes. And it was just, again, what is happening? This is just like out of this world, It was just so funny. But just funny to be just included and hanging with them. And, it was a sober party. Yeah. Which was interesting, too. It's like, those are definitely sober here. No one's partying and getting nuts here. But we just had a fun time just hanging out. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Dude, listen, I took more time than I said I was going to, but I appreciate it. I'm glad I finally got to do this with you. We've known each other for so long, and shared the stage so many times, but I've never been able to just pick your brain about this. So this is part one. Let's do this again, and can't wait to share the stage with you again a lot this summer, man. It's always fun to see you guys play, and it's good just to catch up with you again.
I always love seeing you, buddy, and I can't wait to see you again. I'm sure we'll be talking again soon with things happening out there.
Unbelievable, man. I never would have dreamed, but it's good to be in the same room with all the guys from Rocket Club. I can't believe it's happening, and I'm so glad it is.
Yep, pretty amazing.
I'll talk to you later, my friend. Thank you, man. See you later.
All right, take care, Chris.
Thank you, buddy. Bye-bye. Again, Billy Thommes, drummer for Hairball. They will be at Twin City Summer Jam Thursday, July 21st, but it is hairbandonline.com for all the whole list of shows. I'm going to tell you right now, it is, you're not going to find a better show. I hate to say it like this because I love 80s rock, but you go see it, the actual 80s hair band is still playing their music. A lot of times you're not going to see the level of show that you're going to see if you go see Hairball playing their songs. It's a tribute. It legitimately is a tribute to the great music of my youth and maybe yours as well. Again, my name is Chris Hockey. This has been the Power Trip After Party Podcast, and it's brought to you by our friends at evanstrans.com. Evans Transportation. Thank you so much for coming on board with the Power Trip Morning Show. If you hate logistics, supply chain, is it a headache for your organization? Make sure you check out evanstrans.com. Evans Transportation. Been in business for over 35 years and just getting started, and supporters of the Power Trip Morning Show and the After Party Podcast. And also, by the way, if you're looking for a new career, there's a reason Evans is a top workplace award winner. Check out evanstrans.com/careers to see all the open opportunities. Thank you, Evans Transportation at evanstrans.com, for bringing you the After Party Podcast. That'll do it for this show. Talk to you again soon. My name is Chris Hockey, and you've been listening to the Power Trip Morning Show's After Party.